Laurier is back with an update to their vintage-inspired skin diver, the Neptune. This is the fourth iteration of the Neptune, and Laurier has been improving on the watch with every release. They turned a corner with the dimensions and on-wrist comfort with the Series 3, which I reviewed about 2 years ago. The Series 4 looks to make a great watch even better, with small yet impactful improvements across the entire watch. We will also take a look at some of these changes compared to the Series 3. So let's jump right in. The Neptune has always had great dimensions, and while they are largely unchanged from the Series 3, the Series 4 does wear even better than its predecessor. The Neptune now comes in at 39mm wide, 46mm lug-to-lug, and a wrist to crystal of about 10mm. The only change in these dimensions is the shortened lug-to-lug. The Series 3 was about 48mm. I didn't mind the longer lug-to-lug on the Series 3, but it now feels perfectly proportioned. The lugs don't look like sharp teeth coming out from the case. This brings the Neptune even closer to being the perfect skin diver. It hugs the wrist, doesn't weigh a ton even with the bracelet, and with the acrylic crystal, it packs in that warmth and nostalgic feeling you want from a watch like this. Laurier's game is creating watches with contemporary mechanics and dotting in elements that make their watches look like they are from decades gone by without the risk of buying a vintage watch. They continue to master this, and the Neptune Series 4 is the perfect example of vintage-inspired done right. But if the Neptune was always so good, how have they improved upon it? Let's bring in the Series 3 and compare the two watches to see where some of the changes are. In the upcoming clips, the Series 3 will always be on the left side of the screen, and the Series 4 will always be on the right. A few of the changes from the Series 3 to Series 4 are rather obvious, but let's walk through them. The biggest change to the face of the watch are the handset and marker layout. The handset has been given a slight overhaul to make the hour hand a little less awkward looking and is now a prominent arrow. The minute hand's loom now extends further towards the tip of the hand. The marker surrounds push the loom plots in and out from a visual perspective and give the dial a bolder look. The bezel now features an aluminum insert with an acrylic overlay, which allows the bezel to be fully loomed and plays nicely with the acrylic crystal. The biggest visual change I see is the bracelet. The links are now slightly rounded over on the edges, which takes away from the extreme flat link look they had before. It softens the look of the bracelet and gets rid of those sharp edges. Although it was a little hard to capture on camera, the mid-case of the watch has been thinned out slightly to make room for a taller bezel. You can see the small cut-in under the bezel teeth on the Series 4. I measured the brushed area of the Series 3 mid-case to be 3.8mm and the Series 4 at 3mm. A small change, but an impactful one, especially when viewed in person. While a lot of these changes wouldn't be obvious to someone viewing the Series 4 by itself, they are apparent when viewing the two watches side by side. However, the more important thing to note is that when viewed on its own, the Series 4 just feels damn good on the wrist. Laurier spent a lot of time listening to their customers and the improvements that they wanted to see on the Neptune. There are not a lot of brands doing that aside from Laurier. The only other one I can think of that comes to mind is Notice. I'm sure there are others, but there still aren't a lot of brands that take those changes and release a new iteration of the watch. The Neptune Series 4 is the definitive version of the dive watch from Laurier. Sure, this may be obvious because it's the newest one, but that isn't always the case. Some brands have tried to improve upon their watch and stray too far from what made it good in the first place. Laurier took the approach of small is big. About 5 or 6 small changes to the Neptune have resulted in a watch that still looks like the original Neptune, but feels so much better on the wrist. If you're watching this review on release day and want to pick one up, I recommend getting yourself over to the Laurier website, because I'm sure these won't stay in stock for long. Thanks for checking out the video review of the Laurier Neptune Series 4. For more reviews, head over to watchclicker.com. If you enjoyed this video, please subscribe.